Hi, everyone. I'm really excited for a conversation today focusing on New Year, New Me with Anand Chalani. For those who don't already know him, Anand is an international award winning speaker and is India's number one success coach. He's impacted more than 400,000 people across 30 countries and worked with incredible personalities such as Jose Butler, Ross Taylor, and organizations such as Google, Reliance Jio, and Accenture, and many more. His specialties lie in mental and emotional fitness, and he's made it in his life a mission to empower 1 billion people to be absolute champions, meaning he wants to inspire and activate them to be happy with themselves, unstoppable, and have the inner strength to achieve sustainable success and triumph in all areas of their lives: personal, relationships, family, and their education, career, and business. And I think this conversation couldn't have been better timed with the year we've had in 2020. And I think a lot of us can get some really important takeaways from this conversation today. So without any further ado, I'll start off with my first question for you, Anand.
Hey,
And here it goes. So a
sure.
lot of us have suffered this year. And what would you say from your experience that what we can do to help reduce the emotional load of our sufferings?
God, that's a great question. I'd say a few things. First of all, I'm honored to be back here again and to do some work with you guys. I believe in our health and whatever you're doing, and I really believe in the mission of what you're doing. So it's an honor to serve and serve your community and to add value in whatever way I can. I think your question you asked is about emotional suffering, and I think I'd break it down to suffering, right? We all suffering. A lot of us experienced suffering this year in 2020, and different levels of suffering. Physical suffering. Some of us have been physically, been affected by what's happened. Some people had COVID, right, and experienced that physical suffering. Some people have gone through it, mental suffering, through anxiety or through worry or through, sleeplessness and all those things. Some people have gone through emotional suffering, right? Maybe some people have lost someone that they care about, or maybe someone has gone through the ups and downs of it, or come close to losing someone. So maybe someone's lost their job, or maybe someone's, whatever it is, their relationships had problems. So every area of life, there's different levels of suffering: physical, mental, emotional, right? Suffering. And I think whatever suffering you've gone through, first, just be clear what suffering that is. And second, what I would say is be kind to yourself and say, I've been through it and I'm still here. I've gone through that suffering. I've gone through that storm and I'm still standing. Look how resilient I am. And if we can take that level of ownership, it's powerful. And I believe there's another level that I invite people to come to, which is the spirit level. And spiritual doesn't necessarily mean religious. It can be for someone. But spirit is knowing that there's something greater in them, their atma, their soul, whatever you want to call it, whatever language, there's something greater in me than what I'm facing right now in my life. And if we can come from a place of spirit energy, spirit focus, spirit centric, spiritual strength, what happens is then all the sufferings on the other levels don't become suffering anymore. They become pain. And I believe that pain is a part of life and it's acute. Right? Losing someone is acute pain, and I'm not in any way diminishing that. I'm not diminishing the pain of losing your job. I'm not diminishing the pain of being financially tense right now. I'm not diminishing the pain of not being able to breathe. I'm not diminishing any of that pain. What I am saying is that pain is a part of life, but suffering is optional when you come from the level of spirit. Let me give you an example. The pain is, I have lost my job. But if I make that suffering, it's when I tend to believe that I have no opportunities, I'm finished, I can't provide provide for my family, and I'm in trouble, and my life is over. That's when the pain has converted into suffering. Another example I'll give you is I lost, someone, God forbid, loses someone. Now that is the most painful thing you can go through, in my opinion.
Yeah.
There cannot be more pain than that, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
It's the most acute form of pain. And sometimes, and I'm not going to sugarcoat, that pain may be there for your life.
Yeah.
But pain is to feel that. Suffering is to believe that that person, you can no longer connect to them. You can no longer feel their energy. You can no longer honor them.
Mm-hmm.
Because I showed this in the session we did, and I took someone there who's going through that and showed them that they can connect to their heart and they can feel the presence of that person and honor their legacy and live their values and connect to them in a way where they may not be in body, but their spirit can connect with them, their mind can, their heart can connect with them. So it's choosing. Suffering comes, when we suffer, we choose it. Pain, we don't choose. We're not, you may do everything right, but you still may get corona. You're not choosing it. You're not choosing that pain.
Yeah.
But you do get a choice on whether you decide to suffer emotionally, mentally, and physically. Mm-hmm. Or maybe physically, but definitely mentally and emotionally. You do have choice in that, 100%. And you got to take, and the way to get out of that is to come to your spirit, come to the highest part of you, and then give a new meaning to what is happening in your life. And that new meaning will shift the emotion, it will shift the mindset around it, and then that will shift the experience of what you're going through. And I've experienced that so many times in my life. I've seen that in so many times. And I cannot tell you how many people I've seen who've gone through tremendous pain. But from that pain, they were depressed and they were, I met people who were suicidal this year. And literally some people I've taken off of ledges, literally by phone calls. But we've turned around by getting out of suffering and getting them to really see that pain is part of life, but pain is also where I can grow the most. Mm-hmm. Because pain is what we needed sometimes. You sometimes need the pain of knowing that health is valuable.
Yeah.
Sometimes we don't take it seriously. Before Corona, how many of us didn't take it seriously? Whatever it is. There was no pain associated to it. But we learn through pain. And I'm not inviting pain for anyone. But I am saying that pain is a way we learn. It's how we learned when we were kids. We touched a stove and that hurt. We got pain for that. And we learned, don't touch the stove now.
Yeah.
So don't be fearful of pain. If there is pain, and I don't wish it for you, know that you have choice in whether you convert it to suffering. You can convert pain to suffering, or you can convert pain to growth and to strength. Mm-hmm. You have that choice.
Yeah. I always love starting my day with these conversations. Even last time when you were speaking, it was everything I needed to hear that day. And thank you for sharing this. This is very, very meaningful. So the next question that I have is, the new year coming through, and I'm sure like this year too, we had so many plans, we had so many things we wanted to accomplish, and maybe a few of us did, and maybe most of us didn't do what we expected to do. And now this new year coming, I think everyone's hoping to start it with a lot more positivity and have, some more resolutions. And this is not like a surprise, but most of these times, like the resolutions we make never stick through the rest of the year, right? Like you make the resolution that I'm going to go to the gym every day of this year, and you start off like very strong 2 weeks, and then it kind of like dwindles and you can't keep up with your resolutions. Do you have any tips or ideas on how we can be more committed towards our resolutions that we make? What do you think about this, and how can we make sure that we are truly working towards achieving our best self in 2021?
Great question. I think a few things. First of all, let me address the thing about not achieving your plans. Let's just look at kind of 2020 part of it. So what our plans are, we'll be stressed. If we live our life from productivity and from how much we got accomplished, we'll be stressed. But if we live our life from happiness with ourselves, then I believe we're at a different level. Because happiness with ourselves, to me, happiness is the new productivity. If you're happy with your life and you're happy with yourself, more importantly, and there's two types of happiness. There's pleasure. I can watch a Netflix movie and it's great. I'll get pleasure. But it'll go after a couple of hours. It's only so much I can binge watch The Crown. I love The Crown, but there's only so much I can binge watch that. And then I'll go, what else is the meaning of my life? And sometimes the things, we're such pleasure seekers. And sometimes the things that actually make us happy with ourselves don't give us pleasure. It's not pleasure to wake up at 5 a.m. and go for a run. But it will give you a definite higher sense of happiness with self than, whatever it is, having a milkshake at 10 o'clock at night. Because you'll feel a sense of pride, a sense of ownership, a sense of inner happiness. And the thing I tell people right now, the biggest thing I say to you is, look at how do we measure our life? I love that there's a play called Rent. It's in Broadway. I know you're in New York. Mm-hmm. And it's a great song called Seasons of Love, right? 5,000 minutes, right? That song. How do you measure a year in the life? Do you measure it in happiness? Do you measure it in joy? Do you measure it in success? Do you measure it in results? And I say to you, don't measure your life in results and success. Measure your life in happiness. Measure your life in love. Measure your life in learning. Measure your life in impact. You can control that scorecard. Mm-hmm. Because if you measure it from success, you'll always be stressed. You very generously said, the number one success coach in India. And I'm telling you, don't chase success. I'm telling you, be a peaceful warrior towards success. Be a happy champion towards success. Achieve that unstoppable success. But do it on your terms with your scorecard. Mm-hmm. And then you won't be stressed. And if you look at your life from growth, then maybe this wasn't a bad year. Maybe the score for this year was a much better score than success. Maybe if you score your life from love, maybe it was a phenomenal year. Maybe your best year. If you scorecard your life from happiness and courage, maybe this was one of the best years you've ever had in your life. Mm. It's how do you scorecard your year? And using that happiness or love or courage or peace, use that as a platform for next year. But yeah, that I think covers 2020 in terms of how we look at it, that we can control the scorecard. 2021 is a great question. You asked the question about New Year's resolution. Well, I'll tell you something right now. I fundamentally do not believe in them. Why? Because none of us follow through. In fact, I read a study that said 80 or 90% of the things people have New Year's resolutions on never happen. They never stick to it. And why is that? 3 main reasons. One, we're not in a committed state. When do most of us make a decision on that resolution or to choose that resolution? When do we choose it? We choose it like the day after New Year's. Now, the day after New Year's, are we in a strong, committed, powerful, decisive state? No, we're drunk, we're hungover, we're exhausted, we're cranky, we're lazy, and we're not strong and powerful in that moment. So we're not empowered towards what we want. The second thing is lack of accountability. Accountability means really being able to hold yourself to what you say to yourself, or to stay true to your word. And most of us break our word to ourselves all the time. Right? That's why I coach so many people. I have clients of mine who say to me, AC, you at least knowing you coming on Monday to hold me accountable to what I said I'd do last week makes me follow through. So you need to have someone in your life to hold you accountable. That could be your friend, or that could be your sister, that could be your coach, that could be anything you want. But have someone to hold you accountable to whatever you choose to do. The third thing is resolutions are really focused on, they're just re-solutions, right? It's just a repackaging of what I said last year. It's the greatest hits of the last decade, that recycling. We're not really looking at the cause of what's going on. And so I invite you this year not to look at resolutions, but instead of solutions, re-solutions, look at resolving, having resolve. Mm-hmm. And resolving things means to really look at the cause of something. Let me give you an example. I may have made a resolution last year that I'm going to go to the gym every week. Fine. Or I'm going to lose a certain amount of weight. Okay. Well, I could get that result. But maybe if I resolved it, look at it from a different perspective, the issue is not me going to the gym. The issue may be the way I look at myself. Because if you go to the gym 100 times and your view of yourself is not a positive one, you will never rise above how you see yourself. You will find a way to sabotage yourself and come down. and sabotage all that success. Go to the cause of what's going on, not to the symptom. If you want to improve your relationship, saying, hey, I'm going to take 3 trips with my wife or girlfriend or boyfriend this year, is not going to solve anything. You'll go there for 3 days. You'll go to Maldives. You have a nice time. Everyone will be great. I love you. I love you. I love you. No, I love you. No, I love you. And we'll do all that for like 3 days. And then we come back and it's like, did you clean the dishes? Like, did you do this? Like, we're fighting over these stupid things, right? Because we haven't dealt with this. We haven't solved it. We've just provided a solution, a Band-Aid. So look at next year from a place of, what are the things in my life that I'm going to resolve, that I'm going to resolve, so that they don't become things that show up in my life again. Maybe I'm going to finally deal with my issues around money. Maybe I'm going to finally deal with my issues around a relationship. Maybe I'm going to finally deal with my issues around control. Whatever it may be, get to the cause of it. Don't just play life at the symptom. So many of us play life at a very superficial level, and we pretend that life is at this level, and because we don't have the guts to really go deeper and really deal with what's going on. And when you can nip something out of the cause, not the symptom, you can shift it long lasting. Most people present things on a superficial level. I can't tell you how many people I've met who've come to me and said, AC, I've got an issue, I don't know, a really superficial level, like, with help me hire someone in my team, or hire a new teammate, right? And I come to them, I help them solve that issue, but the issue is not the hiring. The issue is actually that they are playing the wrong role. So go to the cause of what's going on, not the symptom. The symptom is not, in a relationship, we have communication issues. No, you have issues deeper than that. Don't just present it at communication. Go really look at solving things in your life this year, rather than just coming up with more and more solutions to problems that, if you don't deal with the cause, they will be resolutions next year.
Yeah. No, that's very well put. I think my biggest takeaway from what you just said is that shifting our perspective and not looking at all these things so like in a tactical manner, right? Like, it just then becomes like a checklist of things. Hey, I need to read a book today. It's like checking it off, like, I need to do the dishes, and who enjoys doing the dishes. And if you put reading the book in the same breath, instead of understanding the cause, it's just like, I want to be more educated about a certain topic, or I want to learn more about certain things because this is going to help me do this better, then you're much more motivated to stick by it and feel more passionate and connected with that problem you're trying to solve, and not just a check on the list.
Absolutely. And I 100% believe in, instead of taking massive action, take meaningful action.
Right.
Instead of just filling up your thing with, I did 100 things today.
Yeah.
Look at it from meaningful. What did I do meaningfully in my life today? What meant something to me that I did, right? So maybe I washed the dishes, but maybe I did it while I was singing a song I loved, or while I did it when I was listening to a podcast, or while I was doing it with my husband or wife, and we just made it fun. We just said to each other, we both hate doing this, but let's make it a game. Who can do which side of the sink first? I don't know, whatever it may be. Make it meaningful instead of painful or just another duty.
Yeah, that really makes sense. I really fall prey to this a lot, where I just put myself in a pressure cooker of resolutions and then just boil and evaporate, because I'm I can't keep up with everything I've promised to myself. It gets really daunting.
Yes. And then what happens in that is, when you break promises to yourself, you lose self-trust.
100%. Yeah.
And then when that self-trust gets weaker, then what happens is we make more promises, and then we don't trust ourselves to deliver on them, and so that we don't do it. Yeah. Building self-trust is such an important mental, emotional muscle for people, especially in a year like this. And there's a difference between self-belief and self-trust. Believing in myself is one thing. Trusting myself to execute it or to do it is another. I can believe in myself and go out there, I'm going to score 100 today in a match. But I got to trust myself to be able to do it. I got to trust that I can execute. I got to trust that I'm going to follow through. Building trust with yourself is the most important thing I can say to do. And I'll tell you why it's so important this year. I can't tell you how many, in this last year, since we spoke, Pragya, I can't tell you how many marriages I'm literally helping turn around.
Hmm.
It's in 15 years of doing this, I have never seen the level of pain in marriages in my entire career. I've seen people who are at the divorce level, people who are ready to end 30 or 40-year marriages, 20-year marriages, 15-year marriages. And what's the biggest complaint? I don't trust the person anymore. And we go from trust because at a time of uncertainty, we're looking for certainty. And we look to things we trust. And if I can't trust that person, if I can't trust myself to be myself in front of that person, then I'm not happy. And instead of asking for trust from everything around you, build self-trust. Make that your thing. And then this year we won where you're not looking for certainty, you're starting with certainty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's very powerful. Thank you for sharing that. So the next question I have is, from this year 2020, what has been your greatest takeaway, and what are you most hopeful for in 2021 other than the vaccine distribution? What else are you like excited about?
Are you asking for me as a coach to share with people, or me as a person?
Maybe a bit of both. If you want to start with the coach aspect, that would be good. Yeah.
Okay, no problem. My biggest takeaway is that from this year is that we are so resilient as people, and that we can rise and be unbelievably caring, giving, conscious human beings if we want to. And I can't tell you the level of kindness and love I've seen in this world. You know, the fact that, there's a 99-year-old man, I think that guy in London, old army general who walked around and raised money. There's, Sikhs in a Gurdwara in New York who were persecuted at the time of 9/11 are cooking food for the people who persecuted them. These stories just, like I get chills because it's so inspiring what humanity can do. And then I also see, all the things that happen with Black Lives Matter, all these, terrible things that we do to each other, persecution, injustice, hurting each other. We can either, people talk about looking for a vaccine. Well, I believe we as human beings can either be a vaccine for each other or a virus. We ourselves are the vaccine or virus. We are either helping people and evolving this planet and bringing a consciousness to it, or we're taking down someone. If you troll someone on social media, you're a virus.
Mm-hmm.
You're choosing to be a virus. You're choosing to bring hate into humanity. You're choosing to bring pain. If you're a person that, persecutes someone or bullies someone, you're choosing to be a virus.
Mm-hmm.
Choose to be a vaccine. Choose to be kindness. Choose to be love. Choose to be compassion. Choose to be generosity. Choose to be abundance. Choose to be determined. Choose to be loyal. Choose to be all those things that will uplift the people around you. So the biggest thing I would say to people is you choose the energy you live at. And you can either be a low energy, low frequency of energy, which is a vaccine. Which is a virus. You either be a low frequency of energy, which is a virus, or you can be a high frequency of energy, which is a vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
And that means to charge yourself. And charge yourself in what way? Charge yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. We started something called the Supercharge Challenge this year. And I literally did it as an online program, just 10 days to help people supercharge themselves. Now we've made it into a 5-day product. And if people are interested in that, I'm literally giving away for barely nothing. Happy to share that with anyone who wants to start their year in a high energy. It's 5 days, and each day we focus on either mental, physical, emotional, or spiritual. And it's me and the best experts, people I use from around the world, helping me teach you. And it's very practical, literally tools you can instantly apply. So live at a supercharged level. Your energy is your X factor.
Mm-hmm.
Stop focusing on 10xing your business and 10x your energy. If you 10x your energy, you'll 100x your business.
Yeah.
And I say it to you because if you really do that, if you can supercharge yourself and live from that place, and supercharge means living from higher frequency of emotions, living from higher frequency of energy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the gift we have. It's going to be another difficult year, 2021.
Yeah.
And my hope for people is that they take charging their energy, not their damn phone, the most important thing. They make that the most important thing of this year. supercharge yourself. And if you want, happy to come on our thing. We'll send the details on this on Instagram. But supercharge yourself so that you can be fit emotionally, physically, mentally, and spiritually to take care of the people around you. Mm-hmm. Because you being fitter and having more energy will have an impact. We can't change the world, but we can change our world. Mm-hmm. And our world rises with the energy we bring to it. Mm-hmm. Be the vaccine, be the charger of energy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think what you said earlier for this in this conversation, it stuck by me a lot, and I've actually seen in the last 2 weeks, I've been reading this similar phrase and quote very weirdly enough. I've been seeing it a lot, where it's make sure when you meet as another person, make sure you make them feel better about themselves than smaller about themselves. And I think we all may unintentionally tend to do that, where you think that, okay, I'm better than this person because I know more than them, or I have done this better. So in conversations, you end up speaking to them in such a way, or other people in such a way, where you exude your superiority, making the other person feel lower of themselves. And nobody likes feeling like that. Imagine that happening to yourself. And I think that's one thing I really want to be very conscious of this coming year and be more vigilant and cognizant about is, I want whoever I meet, I want to make them feel better about themselves and happier, and not that, oh my gosh, sure, she's smart, but oh God, I feel intimidated talking to her. I don't want anyone to feel that way around other people. And I think I may be doing that unintentionally. So this is the fact that you just reiterated that has really grounded this thought in me. And I want to make sure I'm way more conscious about how I make other people feel all the time.
I love that. Well, you've got that power in you. Okay, you got that power in you, so use that. And I want to make just a distinction, because we sometimes get confused between taking care of others and taking care of ourselves. We kind of think that balancing of the two. You're not on this planet. Anyone listening to this, watching this, you're not on this planet to collect more shoes, to have more, Instagram followers. You're not there to, whatever it may be, to have more gadgets. You're not there for that. You're here to raise the frequency of the planet and energy. Mm. That's what you're on this planet for. That's what you were born for. And to raise it comes from your consciousness and your caring and all the physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. But you can't raise it if you don't take care of yourself. So you investing in your own energy is the service you're giving to others. You investing in yourself, then you can then take people, you can make people feel good about themselves, because you're radiating at that and you've made yourself feel good. That way you're not coming to take anything, you're just in pure give mode.
Yeah.
So there is that thing. We tend to get confused and think, well, taking care of my needs is selfish, but do I give to others? No, invest in you. The greatest investment this year is in you. Yeah. And then use that investment to serve. Don't use that investment to collect. Use it to then create abundance.
That makes a lot of sense. This is not my resolution, but this is the problem that I want to solve this coming year, and I want to make sure that I'm more conscious of this exact thought. So thank you for sharing that. This brings me to our last question. And I think people will really enjoy your answer to this is, so this year has been quote unquote unprecedented, right? That word has been used drastically over this year. And I remember you'd spoken about this in the past as well, where we spoke about uncertainty. But, having lived this year through, do you have any tips and tricks, or some kind of actions or things that we can do that will help us become more comfortable with uncertainty? I know you'd shared this example in the past about raising a child, and talking about how would you ever know that, how to raise a child until you actually do it. And that example stuck by me as well. But I'm wondering if there's something that you can say that, these are the different thought processes or something that we can adopt to help us feel more comfortable with uncertainty.
Got it. So what I would say is the first thing is to know is, like I said, uncertainty is not there to harm you. Uncertainty is your life. You were born in uncertainty. There was no certainty. Yes, there was doctors and there was this, but there was no thing. You came out. You didn't know what to expect. We didn't know what to expect of you. You were born in uncertainty. You were created on uncertainty. You were not created on this planet to get certainty. You were created on this planet to give certainty. And I think that's a big thing. We have this kind of sense of entitlement. We're not entitled to anything. We are entitled to breath. That's it. Everything else is a gift back to this planet and to our Creator, in my opinion. So to me, what we're here for is we got this thing of uncertainty kind of throws me off. Why does it throw me off? Because it gets in the way of what I want. Well, maybe it's there not to hurt you. Maybe it's there to test you. Maybe it's there to inspire you. Maybe it's there to look at the moments of your life right now, the greatest moments you're most proud of, and tell me, in those moments, did you have 100% certainty what's going to happen in front of you? Or was there uncertainty, but you created the certainty? The most proud moments of yourself. I bet you there were moments where you didn't know, but you found the way. You found the faith. You found the courage. You found the inner strength. You found the resilience. It's in those moments when you got the greatest level of happiness. In the center of uncertainty, if you can get past the fear on the outside, in the center of it is inner strength. In the center of it is happiness with yourself. Get through the shell, break through the shell of fear, and attack and connect with the core, which is the center of uncertainty, the gift. You know, we all, I don't know if you remember those chocolates and stuff we got as kids. It was like a hard exterior kind of thing. It was like a really gooey kind of thing in the middle. And we used to have this thing in London called Kinder Surprise.
Yeah.
Like these eggs. And there's a little toy in the middle. Mm-hmm. And there's like a chocolate on the outside. Well, not to make it a chocolate thing, but the outside shell is the uncertainty of fear. But if we can crack through that, there's a gift in there waiting for us. Mm-hmm. There's a gift, there's a learning, there's a lesson. There's more courage, there's more happiness, there's more pride. We have to become more, waiting for you. So from now on, uncertainty is not a guest, an uninvited guest to dinner that you hate. Uncertainty is now the guest you needed to become the best host.
Right.
It's the guest that you needed most. It's the most important person. Mm-hmm. Don't be afraid of it. And the way I would say to find it is find sources of inner certainty. Mm-hmm. Now, inner certainty could be techniques on your emotional muscle for courage or confidence or commitment. It could be faith. It's just sense of taking charge of what you can control. I remember in my life, one of the most tough moments I've gone through, and literally it was about 3 years ago. And I was literally going through very, very difficult time in my personal life as well as my professional life, but mainly my personal life. And it was really painful. I mean, massive uncertainty. And I just said, you know what? At this moment, I looked at myself in the mirror and I said, that's it. I'm not going to live in this fear. I'm going to choose inner certainty. And I just clicked my fingers and I said, take charge. And I said, what am I going to control? I'm going to control how I feel about myself and how I look every day. And I said, that's in my control. And I put myself on this thing where every single day I gave myself a morning ritual. And I did it every morning. I did my yoga, I did my exercise, I did my mental fitness. I did every single day. And so I was at my fittest at a time where people are at their most fearful. And that's what I would say to you this year. Make this your year where you're at your greatest level of fitness. Make this a year, your emotional fitness, mental fitness will help you through uncertainty. And the way you do that is, first of all, 3 questions I'll give you. Number 1, when uncertainty happens, here's the first question. Why is this happening for me? Why is this happening for me? How is this happening for me? How is this happening for me? Meaning it's not happening to me, it's happening for me. In some way, I'm meant to grow from this. Take that lesson. And then how can I use this? And then the third is, who can I pass this on to? You see, any movie you've watched, the hero never always got what they wanted. They got there They got a learning or a lesson, and then they passed it on to the audience or to people in their world. Whatever, don't look at your life from, did I get a result or not? Look at your life from, what did I learn today? What did I take from this day that I can then use to make me better and to share with people? And I think sharing of learnings is the greatest thing we can make this year. Let's make this a year of learning and growth and not comfort and fear. A different life. And if I can give you a piece around that, there's 2 questions you can ask yourself every day. What impact did I make? How did I help myself or another human being? And what did I learn? I ask myself that question every night. If you do that, you'll have a meaningful life. And to help you with uncertainty, look at your life and go, what impact did I have in my day? What did I learn? And so uncertainty doesn't become a thing you fight. It becomes your greatest teacher. It becomes your greatest podcast. It becomes your greatest guru. Uncertainty is there to make you more of who you are. And I can give you tons of tools around this, but one right now is this: just sit up straight, close your eyes, put yourself in a state of certainty right now. How do you breathe when you feel certain? How do you move your body when you feel certain? What's your energy like when you feel certain? What's your focus like when you feel certain? Remember a time where you have felt certain. Stand that way right now. Breathe that way right now. Feel your body that way right now. Reconnect to that certain you, that strong you, that resilient you. Be that person right now. Feel that person within you now. Access that certainty now. Feel that certainty in you right now. When you feel certain, what do you say to yourself? I can do this. I've got this. I'll find the way. What do you say to yourself? Say it out loud to yourself right now. When I'm in charge, when I get that state of certainty, I tell myself, AC, take charge. What do you say to yourself? I can do this. I've got way. Remember what you say. Remember your mantra, your magic mantra. What is that mantra that you say to yourself when you've gone through uncertainty in your life? What mantra got you through it? Remember it now. My family loves me and are with me. I'm unshakable. I'm unstoppable. What did you believe? What did you say to yourself? What did you feel within yourself? Reconnect to that power right now. Remember that mantra right now and squeeze your fist right now and say that mantra out loud. I've got this. I'm in charge. I'm in control. I'm a champion. I am a warrior. I will make this. I will get through. I'm more than this. What do you say? Say it right now. Go. And squeeze your fist. That's it. Now, feel that energy and feel that certainty. If you have that certainty this year, what does your year look like? Visualize that year now with this certainty. What are you going to do? What are you going to resolve? What actions are you going to take with this level of certainty? Feel it in you right now. Make a decision with this sense of decisiveness. I will get my body at the thickest level it can be. I will invest in my energy. I will do the supercharge. I will strengthen myself. I will start that new business. I will propose to this person. I will make love my life. I will measure my life through happiness and impact. I will make my mental health the most important thing. I will value the people around me. I will practice gratitude every day. I will write that book. Make that decision right now and squeeze your fist right now. That's it. Make another decision right now. What are you going to do? Another decision. A decision right now in the next 24 hours. I'm going to sign up for that gym. I'm going to call the person. I'm going to call my father and say, I love you. Call my mother and say, thank you. What are you going to do? Take a decision that reflects who you are and squeeze your fist and say, I can do this, or I got this, or whatever your phrase was. Say your mantra and feel that certainty in you and make that commitment to yourself. and double that certainty. Double it right now. And imagine you could be in this state this whole year. Visualize this year as if you are a rock, as if you are greater than the storm, as if you have more power in you, as that nothing can shake you. Be in that right now. Be unstoppable, be unshakable. Feel that resilience in yourself and squeeze your fist and feel it. Open your eyes and make a commitment that this will be your most unshakable year. This is the year. This is not a year of the happy, a year where the year makes you happy. You will come to this year. This is your year. It doesn't matter what happens in this year. You're going to make this your year of the greatest you showing up on this planet. If this was the movie of your life, this is the part we all look forward to. This is the peak. Your movie started. The uncertainties happen. The terrible moments happen. Where's the hero? Where's the champion? It's time to rise. And the certainty you need is within you. You've been certain before. Access that certainty. Remember that certainty every day. Squeeze your fist. Say that mantra out loud. And then no matter what happens in your day, know that what it is, no matter what's happening is just a scene in my life. But the movie of my life is greater. And I'm the writer, director, actor of that. I'm in charge. It's my production. And I'm here to raise the consciousness of my world.
That was amazing. Thank you so much for doing that. And the fact that, there's such a small, simple trick of just squeezing your fist and saying like 3 powerful words or 5 powerful words, just I think kind of train your mind to just get that sense of certainty in that second where you're like, oh my God, I don't know what's going on. And you do that action again. It's like instant power in your mind, right?
And the reason you squeeze your fist, as you're remembering it, you're remembering the program that puts you in that certainty, and then you're squeezing your fist because we always feel what? Why are we stressed? Because we feel we can't control things. That life is happening, it's slipping through our fingers or whatever. When you squeeze your fist, you're showing I'm in control, not of the events of my life, but how I respond to those events.
Yeah, it kind of brings that back to a full circle, pain versus suffering. How can we control how we react to a situation that happens? And I think this is a very, very powerful and useful trick. Thank you so much for sharing that with us.
My pleasure. What was your mantra, by the way?
I think I was a little maybe influenced by what you were saying. So my mantra was definitely what you, one of the things that you said, I can do this. And when you said that, I instantly connected with that. And I thought I end up saying that many times. Sometimes I even say all is well because, it's
yes,
just
I love that.
Conditioned to think about many times. But I think I do end up saying that, Pragya, you got this. I can do this. This is going to be great. You can do this a lot. And I think that was probably my mantra that came through even right now.
Are you a person who learns by seeing, hearing, or doing, you think?
Doing.
Got it. So what if you woke up every morning and since you're a doer, right, and you feel it, you wake up and you say, Pragya, you've got this. Pragya, you can do this. And you focus on what am I going to do in my thing? You focus on that and you just do that. And you squeeze that fist and you start your day with that certainty. Before you pick up your damn phone, before you did the shower, you start your day in control of you. Your goal is not how many things you did in your day. Your goal is how authentic and how much was I myself in my day.
Yeah, definitely. How meaningful were my actions more than how many things did I accomplish?
Yes.
For sure.
And with greater, and the more certainty you feel, the more influence you have.
Yeah.
Because there's a great saying, the person who always wins the battle in influence is the person who has the most certainty.
Yeah. No, that's really, really true. I think it's reminding me of something very funny. My husband shared this with me where there's a video of a man talking about a typical relationship between a man and a woman, husband and wife. And it's a funny video where the wife, the man is like, well, I think I'm hungry. And then the wife is like, no, you're not hungry. You just ate your food. And then the man's like, yeah, maybe I'm not hungry. You're right. And it just reminded me of the time where it's anything the wife says with certainty trumps whatever the husband is saying with uncertainty, even though they know what they're talking about. And
I cannot tell you, people know that bleach is toxic, but people still drank bleach. Like, I'm shocked. Intelligent people drank bleach. I'm like going, what's going on here? But when something is said with enough repetition, with enough intensity, even though we may not agree with it, it starts to get in your head. Like this, how many times you heard a song and you hate the song, and then finally you're like sitting there in your car and you're like humming that song, right? It's like becomes part of your thing. And you're like, I hate that song. Like, this Justin Bieber song, whatever, you're like, oh my God, this guy's cringy and he's what all these things. And then you're like, baby, baby. What the hell am I doing? Right? It's exactly the same things. But if we don't control the playing in here and the certainty of that, everyone's going to throw their own certainty at you.
Yeah.
And they're going to and their certainty usually comes from fear, or it comes from their own perspective, or from their own motivation, or from their own interests. Yeah. We got to have our best interests at heart and take control of our life. And remember that the greatest thing we have as human beings is one thing: choice. And choice is something we lose. We have so much choice, yet we let so many people choose for us.
Yeah, definitely. That's very, very true. Thank you for sharing this. I think this exercise is amazing, and I will be doing this every morning. It takes like 5 seconds, and I think the impact of this lasts for the whole day. It has potential to last for like a lifetime. So
I literally walk around my apartment, like literally from the minute I wake up in the shower, I'll do it. This thing, and literally even for a session, I'll just do a thing, whatever I need to do. For me, it's simple. Take charge. That's it. Done. I'm there. Boom. Locked in. Let's go.
Yeah. Take charge. That I do this, and it's like you're there. Yeah.
For me, it's just this, because it's that, and I just do that, and I snap my fingers, and bam, I'm ready to go.
Nice.
Anything I can handle it. I can be exhausted, but someone called me the other night, depressed, and wanted to take pills, and I literally snapped myself in the state, picked up the call, called them, talked them out of it, and got them in a different state. But I have to be on. So I primed my body to respond when I needed to respond.
Yeah.
You can do something. It's just training.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I love your energy, Anand. It's the best thing to have to experience every day. So I'm very happy we're recording this, and it'll be there permanently for people to see, get inspiration.
Lovely.
But thank you so much for being so generous with your time today, and all the advice you've given us, and all the lessons, all the feedback, all the things you said have been so meaningful and so insightful and so relevant. I think every single person, no matter how their experience has been this year, can totally learn from each and every word you said. And I'm very, very grateful for having you today with us and sharing all of these meaningful lessons with us. Thank you so much once again.
My pleasure. God bless. Thank you.
Thank you.